Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joko Suroso. I am lecturer in National Islamic University of Kiai Haji Shiddiq, Jember, East Java, Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to say thank you so much for giving me a precious opportunity and to be the keynote speaker on the conference at 8 ICSTR London International Conference on Science and Technology Research. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to say sorry because I cannot directly attend to the conference in London because of several reasons behind it. Also, I would like to say excellency for all committees who provide this conference. I would like to say excellency for the moderator as well, and for all audiences whom I respect. The topic that I want to share at this conference is the profile of high school students science literacy in East Java, Indonesia. Anyway, let me first give something like disclaimer why I choose East Java as the field study here. Java Island is one of the most big island in Indonesia, and Java consists of several provinces, but fortunately, East Java province has the most weak literacy of science in high school. Literacy and education become our main focuses in the study. Therefore, these two things become our main topic today. Let's go to the background. There are 3 points raised to be the background of this study. This first one is competing world education quality. The second one is low attainment of scientific literacy in high school. And the last one is students needed to have the life skill to implement integrated education. Why competing world education quality become very urgent? Nowadays, people growth fastly in Indonesia, especially in Java. Therefore, government have something like obligation that each family only allowed to born 2 babies, which means East Java and commonly Indonesia already have such a really good productive age people. This positiveness needed to be established with a really good education system and literacy in order Indonesia, especially in Java, could compete in the world education quality to elevate the education quality. But fortunately, the low attainment of scientific literacy in high school become the next problem we faced here. Students prefer to, like creating an agenda to hang out with friends and fighting against enemies in online games or something like that, rather than to improve in their quality in literacy. The low attainment of scientific literacy in high school is nowadays facing by students and the teacher. The last one about student needed to have the life skill of to implement integrated education. The previous two things about competing world education quality in the lower attainment and scientific literacy in high school is the previous way, or these two things needed to emphasize by the life skill and really good environment to be integrated with education, because the literacy, only literacy is not enough. The prerequisite of life skills that students have in the 21st century and industrial era 4.0 is implementing integrated education that starts from the family, school, and community environment through habituation to literacy culture. Therefore, the education of ministry in Indonesia through Permendikbud 2015 number 23 from 2016 stated that the National Literacy Movement, or NLM, has been launched by the Minister of Education and Culture in the hope of supporting the environment of families, schools, and communities in urban areas to rural areas to actively participate in fostering literacy culture. It's very urgent to make integration among schools, students, families, or even the Ministry of Education is the main institution to create a really good system in education. But a system that has been established by the Ministry of Education will probably useless if students get low attainment in literacy. It is very skeptic to say that students are very ready to face this 21st century era, about 4.0 era. Because why? Because they even do not have a good literacy. The only integration in education, schools, and many others points and stakeholders. The lowest level in the basic needs, for example, like the needs for food, housing, and health, become the second level in literacy, which includes literacy of citizenship, which refers to the skills and abilities to take an active role in making decisions and using them related to political, social, cultures, and so on. The intern aspect also needed to be elevated. The family and home also become the main pillars for students to assess and to monitoring whether their kids have such a good basic needs like foods, hospitality, mental health, and so on. Because it probably pretty difficult for students, even though they have such a good literacy. But on the other hand, the families do not applicable for their mental health, for the foods, and so on. What we mean in 21st century learning is the development of the world today is basically marked by advancement in science and technology. We cannot deny it. And human resources in the 21st century nowadays facing the 4.0 era begin, begin to be replaced with technology. We can see and relate it to the facts outside there that a lot of job fairs, a lot of um, education's poverty has changed into has changed and combined with technology. So students now are facing something different with what their families face in the past, because students in 21st century, and especially 4.0 4.0 era, needed to comprehending the technology to be used, and science literacy and science learning. According to the Ministry of Education and Culture, scientific literacy is the ability to shape human behavior and character, to care for and responsible for themselves, of course, but not only for students, it is also for society and universe commonly. The science literacy evaluation instruments. The several factors cause the low scientific literacy of students. The first one is the tendency, the learning process, and the second one is the assessment process that is commonly done in schools. The fact happen in Indonesia, especially in East Java. The tendency that the learning process happen in the school become the main problem that makes students feel bored, feel dizzy, and feel lazy to go to school. Because why? Because they have more than 5 subjects to learn, and the period of time taken started from in the morning until afternoon, more than 10 hours they they spend in the school, and then and it makes students feel dizzy at the end of the day. Second one is the assessment process that is commonly done in schools. Homework is very important, but teachers needed to, creating something fun and something effective to assess students' ability. If then teachers only focusing on school to assess their ability, it's very um it's it is not impossible for students getting something like um laziness or and so on, to open up their mindset in literacy, especially for science. And here is the figure one, the Graeber model for scientific literacy. There are several things here about what do people value and what do people know. What do people value is subject competence, epistemological competence, and what do people know is learning competence, social competence, procedural competence, communicative competence, and so on. What I mean here is between what do people value and what do people know is contradictive. it's not fair enough for students to, you know, to enroll their mindset, to open up their perspective about what do people value and what do people know, so that students can be easier to select what actually I need to take. And ladies and gentlemen, this is double one about the shift in science education in the first revolution. Here are some changes. The form and the two. The first one is textbooks are the main source of information. It will change to the main source of knowledge is laboratory data. Rather than we only reading books without implementation and practice, it much more better for teachers and students to for teachers to offering a practice agenda to reflexible what they already read in literacy. And the next one is technology is included in the natural science category to emphasis on pure science. This thing we can read by ourselves and reflecting to what actually happened and for high school students, especially in East Java. As you can see here is the table number 2. It is about the grade of scientific literacy test for high school students in East Java. The subjects of energy. You can see uh, the indicator derivation, science literacy, the problem indicator. There are 18 problem indicator faced by students based on this table. And ladies and gentlemen, the research method that I use here is descriptive quantitative without giving treatment and using written tests for data collections. And the test question used is a science content test on the physical aspects of scientific phenomena of energy teaching material. It's very important to be stated that this study was conducted in several senior high schools in East Java province with population of class 12 science. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, in high school in East Java, uh, divided into several categories. It is scientific class, social class, language class, and religion classes. And this study taken in science class. These are the schools that we conducted to this research. The first one is Mandua Jember. The second one is SMA Negeri 1 Lumajang. And the third one is SMA Negeri 1 Pandaan. The next one is SMA Negeri 1 Prambon Nganjuk. And also Mandua Madiun. And the last one is SMA Negeri 1 Kediri. This study happened in the even semester of the 2019 and 2020 school year. These all schools are very has really compatible classes for science classes, and therefore we can see the percentage of scientific literacy in those schools. And the formula here you can see it's a normal formula in descriptive quantitative method. The percentage of the value obtained and the score obtained, maximum score already formed in this formula. And the categorize of the percentage of students achievement in science literacy divided into several category. It is very high, medium, low, and very low. The very high started from 86 until 100, and very low is less than 54. After doing the research, based on the average value of the whole scores obtained vary, the average value of the whole item for the 6 samples schools was only 58.80% on a 100% scale. Each school successively scored 57.71%, which means it is categorized as low. The more detail is Manduan Jember gain 58.68%, SMA Negeri 1 Lumajang got 59.27%, Mandua Madiun got 58.43%, and SMA Negeri 1 Pandaan gained 57.78%, and also SMA Negeri 1 Pramuka Nganjuk and SMA Negeri 1 Kediri got the same percentage. It is 60.93%, which means those percentage categorized as low, and the overall average only 58.80%. What happened actually? Students' answers show that the level of students' understanding of the basic concepts of scientific is still low or weak. The phrase that we needed to bold here is students' understanding of the basic concept and science is still low, and students are not able to apply and interpret data, even though the form of the problem is simple. The cause why of the low ability is on expressing the content of the discourse given and interpreting the data in the form of pictures, tables, diagrams, and other presentation forms. In addition, there are limitations for students' ability to express thoughts in written-based reasoning skills, reading accuracy, and students are not used to connecting information in the form of text and then expressing it into new expressions to answer the question task given. Finally, about the conclusion and suggestion, the result study is a case about the ability of science literacy of high school students in Java still low, and the suggestion is that can be given to the science teachers. The first one is teachers must always motivate about literacy culture during learning, and second one is science teachers must give lots of examples of problem based on scientific literacy, and the last one is evaluation tools made by science teachers must also be based on scientific literacy. Hopefully, this suggestion could solve the problem. That's all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.